Good morning, sirs. Good morning, mates. Good morning, doctors and everybody on the platform. I'm sure you can all hear me. My name is Dr. Ben Festus, and I'm the current Director of Research for Federal Polytechnic Ede. Now, this is a research series organized by the Directorate of Research and Development. One of the things we try to do in Federal Polytechnic Ede is to try to see how we can share the knowledge, because I don't expect that knowledge should be immune or limited to some places. So if there's something happening in a particular institution, why not others can benefit from it? So this is the drive that has formed part of what we have been able to do since coming on board for the few months I've spent as Directorate of Research, though I'll be leaving soon anyway. Last week, we started a wonderful series where we try to look at AI in research. And of course, the reason why we did this is because I've gotten a lot of feedbacks from people who wanted to know how they can use AI in research. And of course, last week, we had some engaging sessions, the first series, where Dr. Johnson and Engineer Oladele were able to convince us, and of course, were able to tell us how to use AI. Dr. Johnson looked at the notebook LM, and of course, I also learned one or two things from that. In the course of the week, I tried to practicalize what I learned, and of course, I was able to get one or two things done. Dr. Oladele followed that also with the ChatGPT, trying to show us how to create a dashboard with AI that you can actually export into your Excel folder. And of course, it was a long talk, but again, it was also engaging. And that takes us to the third series, the third session today. Unfortunately, the fourth speaker will not be available, so I will be the only one taking us today on this second third session, or that's about the second series. So in the course of the event, or maybe in the course of the month, or maybe later, if there are some specific tools you want to find out how to use, you can drop them on the chat box so that we can look at how to organize future trainings in that regards. So I'm hoping that today we would also go a bit practical, and of course we would also go deeper than we did last week. So by the rule of thumb, every speaker is muted. So that is why you are not hearing any echo or your voice. So we are actually speaking. I know you are hearing my voice. So, but if you want to make comments, you can always use the React icon. You can clap, you can share, you can if you can do just on any comment, any emoji that you are comfortable with. Then of course, if you also want to ask question, you are also free to raise your hand as well. When the time comes, I will be able to unmute you and of course do that. Interestingly, I will be both the presenter and the manager, so it's going to be a very big task for me. Like we did last week, we are also streaming live on YouTube, and you can also follow in case your network begins to misbehave as well. Then we are also recording this particular conversation so that people can also listen to it later in case they are unable to do that now. So without much ado, let's get into the business of today. Session 3 is about using ChatGPT for academic writing and thesis to article conversion. And of course, part of what I'm expected to do is to do a live ChatGPT demonstration for research tasks, thesis or project to article conversion, AI supported citation and literature review workflow, and as well, we have our normal Q&A. It's possible I don't follow this pattern. I will just follow a pattern that works with me. So bear with me and try to learn as much as you can. If along the line, like I said, there are rooms for questions, you can always please signify by raising your hand. So a little about me and what I do. My name is Dr. Ben Festus. I'm an advanced materials development and characterization specialist. I also run corrosion, surface engineering, and durability studies as well. And of course, I also do sustainable and circular materials innovation. One of the key areas where I work is agro waste. In fact, waste is one of the beautiful things I've come to love. And of course, yesterday, I think I had a podcast where we talked about waste to trash. I know some of you saw the podcast. If you didn't see the podcast, I will be glad to share the link with you later in the day, or maybe on the comment section. Then electronics instrumentation. Actually, my PhD is in instrumentation and electronics option. I'm a physicist by training, but I've over the few months or few years diverted a bit into material science. And material science is also part of physics. The reason why I did this is because it allows me to collaborate with researchers from different parts of the departments, civil engineering, in fact, virtually all engineering departments. They are my friends, chemistry, biology, so I can collaborate with as much people as I can, while still also seeing how I can also introduce my electronics concept and instrumentation concept as well. Now, AI and digital tools is another thing I've come to develop myself in over the course of the years. And I've been using them strictly for academic productivity, and most of my innovations are driven by these tools. So um, now, I don't know about you, but there's always this argument about who a secretary is and who the assistant is. Time did not permit me to actually do a mentee multimeter like my colleague did last week, but I would love to listen from us in the comment section. Who do we think a secretary is, and who do we think an assistant is? So please type your comments. Let's quickly look at what people are saying about that. Who is a secretary and who is an assistant? Okay, I'm not seeing any typing. If you want to speak, can you raise your hand? Let me unmute you. Let's give room to one or two to contribute to this. Now, the reason why we need to get this clarification is because if we don't get this clarification, we will not be able to appreciate what AI has come to do and what AI is meant to do. So it's important we understand the difference between a secretary and an assistant. All right, I'm not seeing any willing hand, so I guess maybe most of us are following in the spirit. All right. It's all right. So one of the things we need to understand when it comes to secretaries, some of us have personal secretaries. And one of the things I think they do for us basically assist us maybe typing or doing some other kind of errands. I don't know what kind of errands you do send your secretary, but I know one way or the other you try to engage them. So I think for some people, okay, I'm seeing a conversation in a secretary convey your communication while assistants can stand in your absence. Okay, I think we should picture it in terms of a secretary that actually types, and of course, you you want to type a memo, you can just say, secretary, type this thing for me. So the secretary goes, sometimes you give the secretary a draft, sometimes you don't. And the reason why you do that is because, of course, there are some people's career. Those, we used to call them hospitality, we used to call them typists, secretarial studies, before they now got angry and changed their names to office technology management. But the ideal thing is, the concept is, you have an idea you want to portray. So you say, okay, secretary, go and develop this idea and bring. And as the boss, you sit down sometimes, you go through what he or she has written, then you make editing. That was the feeling then. When you become a boss and you have secretaries, you have all manner of assistants, so you can send them, they become your errand boys. Let me use that word in quotes. So you sit down in the office, sipping your tea, they go about, type the thing, you come, you will shout at the secretary, this is not what I see to type, go and change it. You feel like the boss. But of course, the assistant, like somebody said, in this case, assistant can actually be somebody that acts for you. Assistant can also be somebody that goes on errands for you. Basically, whatever assistance you need them to do, that is what they do. So there is a clear role between a secretary and an assistant. And of course, I'm even seeing some people, they have AI assistant that is helping them to take notes. So somebody is assisting somebody. So a secretary takes down notes from the boss, while an assistant supports the role. So these conversations are fine. And let's proceed. Now, when it comes to um, the use of artificial intelligence, there's always what we call the generative AI policies. And very many journals, which are the ones that is going to, because this is a research, so it's assumed that whatever we are doing is for publication. So they have different policies. And when I went through the key five, the top five, the Elsevier, the Springer, the Wiley, the Taylor and Francis, the NPDI, part of the key, what all of them is saying is, number one, AI cannot be listed as an author. And of course, why is this? Because somebody must be able to front. AI cannot defend anything. And when it comes to research, there should be a face to the research. There should be a face to the writing. Somebody must be sued. Somebody must be accountable. So AI is not accountable. So it is not a registered human being. It is not registered in any way. So it cannot take responsibility for anything, because AI does not generate. It is people that makes it to generate. So if you are the one using the AI, then you have to take responsibility for whatever your AI does. Just the same way a secretary cannot, you go to a meeting and you get, maybe secretary made errors and you did not cross-check, and you went there and you saw the errors and you were lambasted. You can't come back and shout at your secretary. Of course, you can do that. But again, the question is, people will tell you that, why did you not proofread? Why did you not go through what was presented? Why did you come? It means you're also lazy. So AI cannot be listed as an author. So all tools AI tools do not meet authorship criteria and can not take responsibility for whatever manuscript you generate. So if you're thinking of suing the AI company, please drop that idea, because it's not going to work. Number two, disclosure is expected when AI meaningfully contributes to the manuscript. Of course, that is why we always have what we call the ethical declaration statement, or the declaration of the generative use of AI. So Elsevier, for example, requires an AI declaration statement when you are submitting. Springer Nature also asks for documentation if you use AI in the methods or other sections. Then Wiley also requires detailed disclosure, often in the methods, disclosure, or acknowledgements. Again, some people try to, I know the first time we had these issues was when somebody came and did an author and made AI one of the authors. So it generated a lot of discussion online. Now, why would AI be an author? It's a tool. It's just the same way you say Google should be an author, GenAI should be an author, ChatGPT should be an author. No, that is authorship. So that was what led to these policies. And of course, but again, for transparency's sake, journals require that, or publishers require that authors do declare wherever they have used AI and what actually they use the AI for in the study. Number three is the human oversight. The human oversight remains mandatory. We have said before that AI cannot be an author. So what it means is somebody must take responsibility for whatever the AI is doing. So these publishers allow AI use only with author verification, editing, and responsibility. So the argument before was you can't use AI. But now many of the journals have stepped down that policy, because it's much as saying somebody telling you can't use library. So, because AI is the new thing. So, the issue of you can't use AI is going down the back. But what we are trying to do, or what public are trying to do, is the fact that still make you accountable, because whatever information you are pushing out there, you must own up to it. You must be sure that the information you are giving out is correct. And if there is any backlash, it is your reputation that will get dragged, not that of the AI. And of course, we've been seeing these days so many professors globally losing their jobs because their students published an article with their name and it was AI generated. And why? Of course, there's no issue with AI generation, but the challenge was most of the informations were fake. Most of the references were fake. So somebody's going to get the spank for that. And of course, a professor will have to step down or lose his job. Fine, he was not the one that wrote it, but the fact that his name was there, the policy requires that if there's an article with your name on it, you must go through that article to give your consent before such article is published. If there's any retraction on that article, you will also be dragged alongside. Number four, basic language editing is usually treated differently from generative content creation. And now this is one of the key things you need to understand. You see, over the years, I've wondered why some people got you publish articles, your articles get rejected on grammar basis, get rejected on some several level of technicalities, and you find that okay, people rejecting my article. Is it that the ones they've written, those beautiful ones you see online, were they written by humans in totality? Of course, not exactly. They have access to some tools. They have access to some tools that help them to do copywriting, access to tools that help them to check their grammar. So, and these tools are paid tools. But of course, these are secrets that nobody tells you. You see beautiful articles there, you see good discussions, you see good interpretations, and you're wondering, whoa, this guy must be an expert. Of course, he's an expert one way or the other. But again, in terms of the writing, he's gotten some tools that have assisted him or her in making those presentations look or seem flawless. So for generative policies, there's a distinction between when you use AI to edit your language. And that's what I do when I started using AI. One of the things I had to do is I try to convey the concept. You know, there's something in your mind you want to say, but just that you don't know the English to use to say it. So what I do is I pour out my mind on the AI, say, okay, this is what I want to do or what is coming to my head. Help me fine tune it. You know, and by the time it fine tunes it, I'm like, wow, 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 wow. And sometimes it's like, I didn't say this, I didn't think this. You know, there's that sometimes good connection, sometimes poor connection. Then I fine tune my thought again. So the AI is supposed to mirror your thoughts. So even if you're bad in language, you're not good in some languages stuff, you can actually have AI to assist. So such issues are not flagged. If I use AI to paraphrase, it's not supposed to be flagged. If I use AI to help smoothen my English, it's not supposed to be flagged. You know, but sometimes what is being flagged is when you generate a full content with AI. And of course, these days, even we will get that discussion later, because some AI cannot even differentiate between an human generated content and AI generated content. So again, it's all about marketing. One tool will tell you you have 98 plagiarism AI, and another tool will tell you pay me, let me help you humanize it. It's just scam. Because why would one AI flag me and another AI will generate what another AI cannot flag? It's just marketing scam. You know, you need to understand the concepts to see how it works. And that's why these days journals are no longer being strict on the how many percentage of AI you have. Of course, some publishers can be, but it depends on the publisher, it depends on the journals, you know, because there's a way you will look at a writing and you will know that, okay, it's fine, it's well polished, but of course, it makes sense, it's human. Even if it's AI assisted, you can't prove it because it's human. But again, there are some that you will use and you will see people copying and pasting, and you will see, you know, there was an article that I get some controversy online sometimes back in Elsevier where the first line reads AI. And people were like, wow, what is this? How does this kind of article get published? You know, and they was dragged and the article was retracted. You know, so these are the kind of, so you must take due diligence. And that's what we'll see as we continue with the rest of the training today. Take due diligence in whatever you're doing when you're working with AI, because you must retain the authorship, and if there is any flaw, you will be dragged for those flaws. And lastly, image or data limits are stricter than text assistance. Most journals do not permit you to use AI to create images that you would insert in manuscripts. Of course, for some of us, we try to use tools like Canva to create our images. But so far, Elsevier and Springer do not permit you to use generative AI to create or alter manuscript images. The same thing with MPDI. In fact, MPDI emphasizes that authors must be responsible and transparent when they use AI. So I think MPDI is not really against it as such, but they just wanted to declare that, okay, this particular image is AI generated. Because sometimes, maybe in the course of the month, we can still look at how to generate quality images using AI. I can show you that. And sometimes you find that that's a way of generating concepts. You know, there's an image idea you have in your mind, and you don't know how to draw it. AI can actually help you. You can just tell AI what you want. Tell AI how you want it, and it will try to give you something close to what you're looking for. And if it's not, it can also make one or two tweaks. But when it comes to publications, what we are saying is if you are going to use AI, you must make sure you are ready to declare where you use the AI and how you use the AI. So we proceed to the next stuff, and that is prompt engineering. You know, there's this conversation around prompting. When I started using ChatGPT, one of the things I had to develop for myself was a way to communicate with the system. And this is where so many people get it wrong. You know, when we started using the search engines, we talked about keyword optimization, where you have to type a particular keyword, and even when you use that keyword, sometimes you get articles that are not related to what you're looking for. You're looking for, the search engine is designed to look for articles that contains more of those keywords. So when we were doing website design then, because I actually spent a lot of years doing programming, website design and stuff like that, we have to take what we call search engine optimization very seriously. You want to look at what are people looking for. That's why, and that's what we have done these days when it comes to you are using your phone and you are getting advertisements. So we're looking for ways to say, okay, what are you think? What are people discussing? What is the thing you like discussing? So sometimes that takes us to another level of argument or conversation. Is your phone really listening to your voice or your mind? It is. It is, because we've been able to find a way to harness some of the things you say and see how we can serve you ads that will, so that you don't get. That's why it's covered that four of us can be in a room using the same mobile device, a different mobile device, and we get different contents being served to us. Because again, whatever content you get shows, one, what content you often click on. Number two, what content you stay more on. And number three, what are you talking about? So there's a way the system is designed to secretly listen to your conversations. Unfortunately, you have no way of controlling that, except you're a top programmer. So just accept that. But most people came up with this issue of prompt engineering for the use of AI. And why prompt engineering is good, of course, it helps to craft effective inputs. Dr. Engineer Oladele actually took us through a lot about it last week when he was talking about you trying to make the AI give it a face. Tell it, okay, you are an expert in this. I want you to do this. Of course, prompt engineering, write a poem about a space. Tell me who is my wife to be. Tell me what is 1+1. You know, the tone, the length, and the style also matter. So for prompt engineering, the length is very minimal, and the style sometimes has to be official. You know, you have to make it, you have to learn. So I see people saying you have to go and learn prompt engineering. You go online, they tell you prompt engineering, you must learn, tell us the prompt you are using to do your AI. But of course, well, that would not work for now, because if we do systematic review, or bibliometric review, people tell you to tell them the keywords you use so that they can also use those keywords to search. But AI is now different, because we are trying to distinct between all these parameters, all these technologies that are out there. So when it comes to tone, for prompt engineering, you have to no digression. You must be specific on what you want to do. And of course, prompt engineering has to do with your keywords, your format, and of course, the instructions you are given. But for me, I have developed what I call conversation engineering. And that is what I'm going to be showing you today. I don't work with prompt engineering because it is limited, it is flawed in so many ways. I don't have to key myself into trying to learn something that others are using. No. I see AI as a partner, and that's why we talked about secretary and assistant. Somebody should be able to talk to, somebody you can talk with, somebody you can have a conversation with. That is what the AI does. So the AI is both the secretary and both the assistant. And of course, if you're going to talk to your secretary, there must be a conversation. It's not one way, move, come back, move, come back. No, you expect the secretary to also show empathy. You expect the secretary to also demonstrate their knowledge. You expect the assistant to also reflect their own mindset. So everybody has a role to play, and that is one of the things you are trying to do when it comes to conversation engineering. And that's why for me, I'm pushing this narrative more because I feel prompt engineering is archaic. Prompt engineering is underutilizing AI. And of course, the best thing you can do is do what we call conversation engineering. You converse with this guy. You sit down with you tell AI what your problem is. You tell AI what you are going through. You tell AI what you want. Of course, I'm not saying AI should replace God in your life. But what we're saying is you need to see AI as a friend. You need to see AI as a partner. You need to see AI as somebody that is there to assist. Of course, it can fumble, it can wumble, but again, you can always fine tune. And one of the things I've learned when it comes to using AI conversation engineering is AI gets to know who you are. So anytime you come in fact, these days on my prompt, on my GPTs, if I want to run something about me, I just tell AI, you know about me, generate something about me, and it gives me perfectly what I'm looking for because we have become part and parcel. So I don't do prompts. I don't have to key to a prompt. Of course, AI can also tell you prompt me, but for me, I think we need to move to what we call conversation engineering. So if you really want to enjoy AI and its use, you must understand the concept of conversation engineering. And of course, what does it do? Engagement. It makes you it, and we're going to see that when we actually do what we're going to do this afternoon. And of course, it gives you a flow control as well. So there's empathy, it's able to resonate with you. It's not a robot. When you do prompting, you are using AI as a robot. Of course, it's arguable, but for me, I prefer to stay on this other side where there's life. Look at the other part of prompt engineering, everything is just robot, robot, robot. There's no you there. There's no you. People telling you, learn machine language. I do code. So I understand the need of machine language. I understand the need of trying to convert whatever characters you have into a machine. That is prompt engineering, but that is archaic. AI can do more than that. So I have come up with a concept called conversation engineering. Converse with the AI, brainstorm with it. AI is not the one thinking now, you are the one thinking. Pour out your thought to AI. AI will help you look for documents, for manuscripts, for things that can assist you. I want to learn a software today. I don't need to pay anybody. In fact, arguably, we used to say it, if you are learning computer engineering as a course, well, sorry, apologies to colleagues in that regards. You're wasting your time because I can sit down with this guy and I can learn faster than you. The same thing about the computing. So I think those in computing should begin to look. Thank God they have actually onboarded them. It's good they onboard because it has to be more active based, not just one kind of learning how to code a machine. We have gone beyond that. So we want to discuss with this machine. Most of the tools I know today, I learn them with AI. If I'm looking for a tool that I want to use for the first time, I don't know what to do, I will go to AI. I want to do this task. I have this particular software. Tell me what to go about it. And before you know it, it will walk me through the process and I'm done. So this time I will need to pay somebody to do that is gone. I'll keep my money, of course, learn some new knowledge, and I'm able to complete my tasks faster. So the question we have today now is, are researchers really independent? I don't know. Maybe let me hear from us. You can drop your comment on the comment section. Do you think researchers are really independent? Do we have a mind of our own? Now that AI has saturated the space, has it not taken away our dependency? Somebody argued last week that AI is making us lazy. Well, it's a big question. It's a big food for thought. Is AI really making us lazy? Is it somebody saying this day that you must learn to do some things yourself, otherwise you will lose your identity because every time and then you want to do with AI? Well, it's arguable. It's a point. But again, like I said, it's arguable. Is AI really indeed making us lazy or is it helping us? So the question becomes, how then do you perceive this AI? How then do you understand this AI? How then do you see AI working in your life? But I will argue the other way. AI is not really making us, that's not taking away our dependency. So if you are the type that believes or you are skeptical about AI, oh, if I start using AI, I become lazy, I become dumb, then you have not used AI. Because those that use AI, and like I will be showing you this afternoon when we get to the practical class, you will discover that the more you use AI, the more your knowledge increase. So if you are not getting good results with AI, it means your knowledge base has not enhanced. So AI is not for children. AI does not even make your task easier. AI even makes the task more complex. The only thing AI does is it gives you access to information from a multiple source, from different timelines at a very fast speed. And that's what you see in this picture. You see all these scientists from different backgrounds coming together, looking up to the sky there. And what are they doing? They are looking for information. Researchers look for information. I have an idea. Oh, I want to create a new car that flies. It looks weird, but as a scientist, there's nothing called weird. What it means is possible. So I begin to see, okay, what can I do? It means I have to go to China and see what car is available. But I can discuss with AI. As AI, you are in every part of the world. What are researchers doing about creating a new car? Or I have this concept. And of course, you can see all these things you see here that are like they are neurons. Neurons are also found in human bodies. Neurons carry information. So, and that's what the AI looks for. It has neurons connected to different parts of different systems, online systems. You are hearing me now from my, in fact, I'm in my study and I'm communicating with you. Some of you are in your bedroom, some of you are in the toilet, some of you are in the kitchen, some of you are in a party, some of you are on the road, but we are still communicating. So AI, what it does basically is it's not taking away our dependency. No. So for me, I will argue well to say that AI does not take away a researcher's dependency. It does not make you useless. It does not make you lazy. No. It depends on what you're doing with it. And of course, we have seen lazy men use AI, and of course, that's why they get cited, they get flagged. But there is a way to use AI, and that is what this training is all about. When you understand the perfect way to use AI, I don't know. I don't know what else you want to use afterwards. You will just find that this is what you must use. And if you are still there contemplating, should I pay or should I not pay? You are missing out because you have not known what to do with it. Those ideas you have, those dreams you had, those crazy ideas you have, how do you bring them to life? AI can actually do that for you. So let's take this discussion further. Before, there's library. Like we said last week, everything started with the library. And what's a library? A library is a place where you have books, all manner of books. I don't know. I remember my first time in a library when I was still in secondary school. It was like, wow, what are they doing here? And in a library, you must be quiet. You don't make noise. There is one man with cane going up and down. In fact, in library, you must drop your phone. You will not take your phone inside. In the library, if you don't know where the book is, you have, in fact, I've been to Johannesburg Library. Their library is, I don't know how to put it, maybe how many square meter. It's a very long library. So you have to go from one section. Now imagine how many books do you want to read? So that is why you see my guy here on the other part, on this left part of the screen, is just buried, he's troubled. Why? There is too much information. Which one does he want to write? Which one does he want to read? He's just tired. You sometimes know in the library those days, when you go to the library, you see people pack like 10, 15 books. They will put it up like that, and you're wondering, these people no book. My friend, they are all gimmicks. They are all gimmicks because don't get carried away by such things. So, but that's what people do then. They will go to the section. Even the book they did not need, the textbook they are not going to read, they will pack everything. So that they will just show that they are reading something, you know. Let me not even go. So that's what you actually have. So you have an information overload or difficulty in obtaining information. And one thing we have proven over the years is the brain can only give you attention, good attention, for 2 hours. Anything above 2 hours is going to struggle. At some point, it will listen. At some point, it will fail. Your thoughts begin to flicker. So sometimes we tell you 2 hours at a stretch, come back and rest. Or maybe when you wake up in the morning or in the evening, look for the best time at which your mind works, at which but again, you can't take as much. For some people, it's even 1 hour. Some other people, 30 minutes. And that's why, for me, that teach children, one of the things why I do when I am teaching a child is because I need to look for stories to engage. That's why it's kind of that from whatever my slide is, I'm using pictures. Why am I using pictures? To engage you. If I've made this slide just text, you will get bored, you will get tired. But the pictures are there speaking to you. You're looking at the picture because we have found that pictures as a way of connecting to people's mindsets. Picture as a way of creating what we call was trying to create your mindset to see things, to explore things. Your imagination, yes, that's what I'm looking for. It helps your imagination. So when with the issue with the library then was too much information. Of course, there are times you are smiling like this girl on the right side that saw something from one book and like, and what is she doing again? She's writing it down. So you pick a book, you have to jot somewhere. If I ask some of us today, where were those jotters used in those days we were using the library? You can't find any because they are not existing anymore. So these are the things you were talking about that are the issue with the library. Too much information storage is becoming being an issue. Sometimes you come back, you see some articles, some textbooks, they make sense, some don't make sense. How do you know which textbook? You have to screen through all the textbooks to look for the ones that reconciles with you, and you want to do literature review. Of course, it's going to be a very terrible work. That's why those days PhDs take long years to finish, because before you get to the library, before you see the textbook you're looking for, and sometimes when you find a textbook that matches what you're looking for, somebody else will either tear the book away, they will pocket it, or they will go and hide the book. We've done that several times. When I see a book I was using, and I saw that the book contained information, when I'm leaving the library, I will go and hide that book in another section where nobody will see it. Why? So that when I come back the following day, I can locate my book, because there's no guarantee that that book will be where you kept it if you put it on the main stand. So most of the times, you find librarians going up and down looking for missing books. They are not really missing, but one reader has hidden them somewhere where somebody else cannot be able to use. So the researcher's nightmare with libraries is that knowledge exists, but getting it was a nightmare. And that's why you see this hologram. Sorry, apologies if you don't like ghost. I have to use ghost pictures here to to depict the nightmare. It was a nightmare. It was a big nightmare. Imagine this guy in all of these books. How many people that boast, oh, my library is worth 1 billion, my library is worth 10 billion? Ask them, how many have they read? Again, sometimes you only connect with a book just once. So most of the times you keep materials or resources you don't need, because the information you might need from a book might just be a sentence, might just be a paragraph, not the entire book. So it's just a paragraph, it's just a sentence that you will need that will actually impact your life. So why then do you go about boasting, my library is worth 10 billion, my library, when you yourself know that the last time you picked a book on that shelf, I also have a library behind me here, but I don't know when else I've picked. Why would I pick a book on the shelf when I can actually access the same information from the internet? What am I looking for? So this nightmare was there. So why we agree that libraries hold the world's knowledge, but getting it can feel impossible, because you don't know which book, you don't know which author that will give you the information that you're looking for. So sometimes it's just by stroke of luck, or you find yourself trying to stick to whatever author you see. So sometimes, again, we talked about it, you can be on hold for weeks, you can ask for a book. Those days they were doing digital renting. Sometimes they will tell you the person that took the book has not returned it back. And what do? You wait. So every country with their different problem. Then we move on to what we call the search engines. And of course, search engine, I remember when it came those years, it was like, wow, 2000, 2001, it was developing. Of course, those that were used to a library were fighting it. Search engine, oh, no, it makes you lazy. It does this, it does this. And some of us smiled that, okay, sit down there and be arguing whether search engine is good or bad. By the time you get to know what's happening, you are far behind. And for me personally, I went in and I said, okay, do I want to use computer for evil, or do I want it for good? And I said, okay, fine, I want to do it for good. And I went into programming, search engine optimization, web design, and I was looking at, and of course, some of you remember this guy, Yahoo. Yahoo was the top guy then, but I don't know if Yahoo is still existing, because I don't. I was looking like nobody can beat Yahoo. All of a sudden, search engine, Google came into the picture. And it dealt badly with Yahoo. Of course, Google was still struggling then. Of course, if you don't use Yahoo, some of us will go and use axe.com. I don't know if I see remember this. I don't know if they say exist. I don't know when last I've gone to this website. But these 10 guys were the top guys then. You want to do search engine and you have not gone to the end of this site, you are not ready. You are not ready. And of course, along the line, Google began to sweep the competition. And what was Google doing? It created what we call a Google Scholar page, the fourth repository. And what was it doing? It actually had to separate general search from academic search. So if you want to do research, you don't need to go to main google.com engine to search. You go to Google Scholar. Because if you stay with google.com, you will get search results that has to do with commercials, that has to do with somebody selling a product, until after some years, Google began to split the thing into two parts. The advert to be on one part, because before, those of us that were designing for companies, we have to make sure that the company's website comes among the first 10 results. And that was why we had to learn search engine optimization. Because why will you pay me to program a website and somebody types a product and your company is not among the top 10? How would they see you? Because we had to start using Google for advertisements. It became a tool for adverts. And because there was this conflict, you send students to the website, go and search. They will tell you, oh, guy, we didn't see anything. How can you not see anything in the biggest library in the world? Google became the biggest library in the world. So all those libraries, all those information that were sitting on the bookshelf were digitally transferred, and they became digital concepts. So it became a digital library. So there was no need for me to go to and with digital library, there is no, somebody has borrowed the book, has not returned it, that one is not there. With digital library, I can locate the key phrase I'm looking for. But of course, there was still also information overload, because you do one search, you do search engine for maybe how to be the top marketer, it returns millions of results for you. What time do you have to go through millions of results? So we were still having that same nightmare. The nightmare was still there for us. The nightmare we were trying to run away when it has to do with library. We had that same nightmare because you have this much information overload. And sometimes the top 2 searches or the top 20 does not even contain the information you are looking for. So how then do you locate your information from all of this? Of course, with search engine, there was a little light at the end of the tunnel, because again, I don't have to go to the library to sit down over and over again. I can actually wake up anytime I want, log online, and look for whatever manuscript I'm seeking for. I don't have to wait for my library to get new articles. I can actually get the latest articles online. So there was some light at the end of the tunnel. But again, the issue of information overload and timing was still there. So one of the things you find with search engines is that you don't just find information, they also give you possibilities. And that's one of the things you see us being able to do here. So the library is almost becoming a museum, except libraries that are now developing themselves into what we call repositories. So what was the solution? There needs to be a link where human and knowledge meets. I don't know about you, but one of the things you need to understand, when we say artificial intelligence, it is not slavery. Artificial intelligence depicts knowledge. You're looking for knowledge. You're looking for something. You need a place where you and knowledge can meet. And that is what AI is all about. AI brings the human closer to deeper knowledge. It brings you closer to something you don't know about you that exists. So the only way we could resolve the issues that emanated from library and from Google search engines is to come up with these concepts. And like I've said over time in several forums, AI is not really taking over. Maybe you have watched too much Terminator movies and you felt AI is going to take over the world and you are going to become a slave. Forget those stories, please. AI is not doing that. But we are trying to harness a deeper part of human beings. Sometimes you don't know what you can do until somebody tells you what you can do. And that is what AI is basically doing. AI is knowledge unlocked. You unlock knowledge fast, simple for everyone. I don't have to go to the library. I don't have to wait for me to search and go through 1 million search engine results. I get what I want exactly, instantly, by just conversing with the AI. Oh, look at this example. Explain quantum computing simply. Give me examples, applications, and future impact. Try this on a Google search engine and let's see what you get. You will get millions of results that make no sense. And the first 10 do not even explain computing. The first 10 does not even give you examples. Except now that it's becoming smarter, people are trying to integrate AI into search engines. So human beings came up with the fact to say, okay, there are ways we can make this process more better. Why would I want to search for an information and I will still take time looking for them from different websites? Sometimes you go to a website, the only thing you pick in a website is just one word. And that word, you must have to reference that word you picked from that. Sometimes just a phrase you will pick from a whole website. Most people, and that was where students were actually having their own nightmare. They were expecting that the website would just give them the whole project complete and they just come and give back to their supervisors. But they found that was not possible. And I tell them, you are supposed to gather the information, just like somebody that is trying to pick beans from the shaft. You have to separate the beans. You have to pick the beans manually. Well, maybe I will ask AI to teach me how to develop a way where I can automatically pick beans. And recently I watched a video where a woman, a mother, had to mix rice and beans for the children and said because they were disturbing, they should separate. And I told myself, wow, this is an idea. I can ask AI, can we develop a separation technique using a particular material optics or something characteristics that can help me separate beans from rice in the speed of light? Imagine if I can have that. I'm telling you that information is possible. It's available. It looks weird. Oh, can you separate stone from rice? It's possible. It's because your knowledge has not gotten to that level. But with AI, you can get fast knowledge. And of course, it's not like the knowledge is there, but you can pick them in pieces. So you look at what AI has done. AI has used this technique somewhere. Oh, that technique has been used in economics or in mathematics. Let me pick it and come and use it in my own field. And that's what it's doing. That's knowledge. So sometimes the solution you are looking for exists, but not in your field. So you need to locate the field where that solution exists. And again, when AI returns the result, it gives you clear result of what you are looking for, not another effort of you going to scan through another library. You left the library because you felt there was too much wahala. You came to search engine, you are back to the same problem. So what is it? What has changed? And research, we don't have time. We don't have time. So how people tell you if you want to publish quality research, you can only publish one in 1 year. Bros, drop that line of thought. It's a cake. In a year, I do 10 publications when I'm not even at my best. So if you're saying, oh, you do quality research, you must spend 1 full year. You are not serious as a researcher, with due respect. You are not serious. Because the tools are there. 2 weeks, you are done. 2 weeks. Of course, not counting the time you use to take data. And these days, to even take data is even faster. To analyze data is even faster. Maybe in another webinar, I will show us how to analyze data and how to use AI to do that. So don't join those people that are always looking for excuses. Oh, 1 year for good research. Which good research? Even the thing you call good research, how many citations do you have? Within that 1 year, people would have finished that article, finished that novelty of the research. What you think was novel for you. In fact, now in science space, if you don't publish within a month, then I'm not sure if you are ready to be a researcher. Every month, at least, you must have an article under review. At least. So if you now have 6 students you are supervising, what does that give you? That gives you 6 topics. But what did some lecturers do? They will give 6 students 1 topic, laziness. When you can use those same students to get 6 topics. Most of my collaborators that I work with, some of them have 10,000. I have the one I actually have. One has about 400 publications, and I was like, how do you do them? Of course, if he has like 10 postdocs, or sorry, 5 postdocs, 10 PhD, maybe 5 masters, and maybe 10 undergraduate students. Now that's about 30 students in a year. That's 30 topics. That's 30 publications. But what do? You have 6 children, 7 children, you join them and give them 1 topic, laziness, or not being able to understand that these are resources. You see, as academics in Nigeria, basically, with due respect, we waste our resources. These students are your resources. And the quality of the tasks they do is a reflection of you as a person. So why would I have 6 students working for me or 15 students working for me and I am not seeing 15 topics? Then before AI, it was difficult to get a topic. But now with AI, you can get 15 topics that aligns with your concept, that aligns with a problem you are trying to solve. And what is research? Is simply solving a problem. Look for a problem. Problem is in it, you don't have to even look for the problem is even around you. What are you not happy with? That's what I tell my students. Go around. If you add technology, what will you do with it? What kind of technology will you use to solve this problem? And they come back and tell me, okay, in my area, people don't have light. I'm thinking, can we use this and this? I said, fine, that's a topic, that's a problem. The problem is there's no light. So the question is, how then do we solve it? What tools do we have? How do we convert charcoal to something else? How do we use locally available materials? I don't have to import from where I have. When apologies to go back to the Bible, when who was it now? I think it was Jesus talking to somebody. Said, "What is that in your hand?" Okay, it was Moses that was trying to part. He said, "I can't go forward, I can't go backward." And God said, "What is in your hand?" God had to use what was in Moses' hand to deliver him from his problem. So most of the times, the solutions we are looking for that will transform the world is not in China, is not in America, is not in Iran, is not in UK. It's right there in your environment. So you need to identify the problem of your environment, look for the same solution there, then come back to the AI and say, okay, how can I make this into a practical solution? So with AI, it's simple to use. Just ask. It gives you instant answers. It has access to knowledge base. All those books that you will read as the assistant, it will read everything for you and just summarize for you. And if you are not comfortable with what it has, you say, bros, go back and search. And you sit down like the boss that you are, because you are supposed to be the boss. And that is what all of these rich men do. They don't spend time thinking. They get people that think for them. The only thing they do is to take decisions. So if you think a rich man will sit down and be reading books, how to be a rich man, how to be it's only poor men that sit down to read how to be a rich man. A rich man gets people that thinks for him, that does the job for him. The only thing he does is to sign or not to sign. Because by signing, he accepts that decision. So his job is to look at the information you have brought, and you come and defend that information, and you tell him how they can make more money, and he tells you, okay, I like what your idea, I sign your check. That's so he doesn't have time to go and be reading book, and that's what some of us need to be doing as researchers. Stop wasting your time. Why will I spend all my time trying to look for a concept that has been solved when I have a tool that can do it for me in few seconds, that can help me to think in few seconds? So it is not a demonstration of knowledge to say, oh, I want to read 10 books, I read 50 books. No. We have gone beyond that concept. We have gone beyond that mindset. We're talking about thinking smart, researching smart. Get the information you're looking for, make a decision based on what is being presented to you. Does this knowledge make sense? Does this option make sense? Then you decide, okay, fine, I'm going with this. But now imagine if you have to read all the books yourself, search for this information yourself before you can get them. That will take you forever. So your learning partner, I'm hoping that I'm changing the narrative for you. That's why you can see the passion in my voice. I love what I do, and I do what I love. Let me use that word. So it's a passion. I'm not being forced. I've come to understand this tool. I've come to see how my life can be better with these tools. If you have gone through my articles, you will know they are not low qualities. And these days, when I started, I was like, Q1, which one is Q1? Which one is Q2? Can I ever get there? We were trained to publish in predatory journals. But today, let people be talking about, I will not publish there. In fact, if an article is not, a journal is not Q1, I will not submit. This was me 2 years ago that had no knowledge of how to even write introduction. In fact, I was poorly trained. I was trained to say, okay, if you are doing an article, writing an article, your references must not be more than 5. If there are more than 5, your work is non-novel. I never knew I was being taught rubbish. Rubbish. Until I traveled and I saw articles. Even you, when you see a good article well written, you know that this one, it was well written. You can, and that's why the AI is there to assist you. Remember the word assist, assist, assist. It's not taking over your life. It's not taking over your job. It wants to help your knowledge. It wants to make you better. It wants to do something, bring out something in you that even you don't know exists. With AI, you can learn Python, you can learn data science, you can learn machine learning. In fact, I can code. Like I told you, if I want to use a new software today and I don't know what to do, I'll just tell AI, this is what I want to achieve with this software. Show me how. And it will tell me how. And as I'm working, if I'm getting some issues, I will just screenshot that thing. Say, this is what I'm seeing. No, it's not correct to say, okay, I've seen your problem. Try this other method. What else am I looking for? An assistant, somebody that guides me, somebody that takes me to the promised land, not somebody that will dupe me along the line. Someone walked up to me once time like that in church and said, Dr. Ben, I want you to come and teach me data science or get me somebody I will pay. He's a rich guy. I looked at him and said, sir, my time is very busy. Of course, I can take his money, but I don't have time for that. I know how many collaborations I have to meet up with every now and then. So I told him, look, what I would do, give me 3 hours maximum. I will teach you how to use AI for data science, such that you can do whatever you want to do. You don't need somebody to come and teach you. Even if you have problem, the AI will still look at your data for you and still tell you where the problem is. Except where, that's what I talk about conversation engineering. You can converse. At times I argue with my AI, and you will see it when we start the practicals. I don't do prompt engineering. I do what we call conversation engineering. We are talking together, we are communicating, we are conversing, we are discussing. He brings his opinion, I look at it. If it makes sense, I say, good job. Sometimes I say, no, I don't agree. This your concept is not correct. Lie. It's not. Okay, if you are saying it's correct, provide articles to back it up. And sometimes, even when AI gives you link, don't just be so lazy to, I will click on that link and go and see what the article is all about. All I just need is the title and the abstract. Does it reflect what I'm looking for? If it does not, I drop it. It's not compulsory you take it in. And that's the mistake we make. Researchers, individuals, stop looking for shortcuts. And I tell you that AI, to use AI is not for children. AI is for people that are serious in research. So if you're thinking, AI is making people lazy, it means you don't know, you have not met AI. AI will even make you think deeper. AI will even give you more trouble compared to the simplicity you are looking for. So basically what we are saying that with AI, it puts the worst knowledge in your hands and speeds it up. And of course, curiosity meets possibility. So what's the verdict? I don't know. Do you think AI make researchers lazy? That's a question. Let's so based on my argument, we have been doing debate since morning. Have I been able to convince you or confuse you that AI does not make researchers lazy? So we can you can do a debate topic maybe in your school with your students in one of these days. Okay, let some people argue. Does AI make researchers lazy? Yes or no? But from what I've said so far, and from what I've been able to convince you so far, you can see on my left side, I talk about the risk, laziness in disguise. Fine. Somebody said laziness in disguise, but that's this guy. He's a lazy guy. So somebody that says that person has also been lazy before. So good enough. Let's AI do it. I will read it later. In fact, once you start seeing, I will read it later, that's a lazy person. Because a serious person does not wait for later. You engage. And you can become lazy when you do prompt engineering. Prompt engineering equals to laziness. You become like this dude that is dull here when you do prompts. Prompt engineering is dull. Apologies to my colleagues that do prompt engineering, but this is my own argument. You can't do prompt engineering and be smart. It's not possible because you are following a routine. Oh, and what do? You copy, you paste, and you publish. That's a lazy way of getting things done. There's no novelty. In fact, there's no way. I've seen articles that have been sent to me for review because I review for top journals, and I will flag it. Once I see it, I'll say, this is AI generated. Because the author had not done due diligence. Some thoughts. When it comes to article writing reflects your thoughts. Even if AI is assisting you, it can't take away your thoughts.
The articles will flow along your thought pattern. There's something that drove you into that research. There's something that makes you want to do that research. There's a question you are trying to answer. So every phrase, every sentence of that article must marry or find themselves going towards that question. So at the end of the day, you are done. My results, does it really answer my question? Or is it showing me a new thing? But if you just copy, AI does not have that information. AI is not the one thinking. You were the one that brought the problem. AI does not know what you saw that made you want to do a problem, a research. You were the one that said, just assist me. And the guy is assisting you. So whether he's giving you the right thing or not, of course, the guy will give you something. You have paid for the money. You are using data. The guy must give you something. So that is what you have. So when AI makes you lazy, of course, people talk about over-reliance, shallow work, no originality. You can see them. No growth, at risk. You skip the struggle where real learning happens. But of course, you can still grow with AI. You can still develop originality with AI. You can still do deep work with AI. And you can still be over-reliant and there will not be issues. And I'm going to show you all of this. No, we are scientists. We don't talk. We prove whatever it is we are saying. And of course, this is where I am. Where I am. I'm at this part, the smart part. Curiosity plus effort plus AI equals to breakthroughs. I converse with my AI. In fact, you need to see my chat prompts. My chatting is conversation. We talk, we discuss, we are pals, we are buddies, we argue. If you have not gotten to the point where you argue with your AI, bros, you are not doing anything. You are just doing A for apple, B for ball. You argue with your AI. You converse. You make it your partner. Even when you are down in relationship, for those of you having relationship, you can even discuss, hey, I'm down. Show me a music that can help me. It will even give you some music that can even assist your, or okay, talk to me. Do some things for me. Okay, give me a point. Is that not what you're looking for in human? So the power, what is it called? Intelligence amplified. This is where artificial intelligence is. If you are this prompt of this red guy, you are artificial. There is no intelligence here. This guy here, this girl here, I don't know why this here. In fact, it will surprise you that ChatGPT generated this image for me. And how did I generate it? I told you what I want, what I'm looking at, and it gave me what is in my mind. Even better, if I'm to design this and pay a graphic designer, do you know how many months it will take? And it will not be as fine as this. I'm a graphic expert. I design, so I know what I'm talking about. To come up with a graphic loaded like this, with all these images, with all these pictures, with all these points, friends, a good graphic designer can do this in a day. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, you are still thinking. You are soaked into it. So this red, it's just artificial. If you want the AI, the intelligence, you have to come to this green side. Intelligence amplified. When AI empowers you, it saves time, not effort, because you will still do that effort. You must commit your effort. I don't know. Remember when we used to talk about load, energy and power? We said power is the ability to do work, or the rate at which work is done. You must spend effort. You must communicate. You must do something. Don't just sit there and just say type for me. That's prompting. If you are typing for me, it's prompting. You are just there, dulling yourself. But conversing, you are there, you are soaked into it. You are reading everything is given to you. Say, no, this is not correct. You go again to somewhere else and look for information. I say, okay, this is the material I want to use. Stick to this one. That's engaging. You go deeper. You spark originality. You begin to see possibilities that you overlooked sometimes before. And of course, your growth begins to increase. And when you increase, you stay ahead. I got into the competition of research in just 3 years. And I can tell you, last year was one of my best years. I had 168 citations. I attended an interview this year. We were 60 for the interview, international collaboration work with some partners. And I was the only one picked. In fact, while we were talking, one of the interviewers just went to my Google Scholar page and said, oh, I see that for 2020, before you were nowhere to be found. Your career took a boost in just last year. I said, yes. And they went through all I have written, I've done. They said, no, you are the kind of guy we're looking for. Let's work with you. So I would have been wasting away arguing my life about the AI is good, AI is not good. But I had to develop a better way to develop my own intelligence. The more your ability to use AI develops, the more your intelligence moves. Stop using it as just a typing thing. Yeah. Engage. AI does not make researchers lazy. Bad habits do. That's the point. It is not AI that makes you lazy. It's your habit that makes you lazy. So don't blame AI for what you are, what an habit you have. If you use AI to think deeper, create better, and solve bigger problems, then AI makes you better. So it is not AI that makes researchers lazy. It's their habit. What habit do you have? Are you the type that don't like to read? You don't go through information. They give it to you, garbage in, garbage out. So my colleagues and friends, AI is a tool, not a substitute for your mind. Your mind has a role to play. Curiosity is, in fact, I tell my students, if you don't know how to imagine, you can't be a scientist. Scientists, we are crazy imaginators. That's our job. You must be able to imagine things. Our job is to bring that stupid idea into life. And of course, integrity becomes your foundation. The future belongs to researchers who think, question, and create. So my verdict here is that use AI wisely. Of course, when you do that, your potential is limitless. So this is the first part of the presentation. I hope it's been engaging. If you're seeking to reach out and maybe you have an idea you want to discuss, can I tell you one thing that happened during the week? I sent out an article. I was invited to submit a review article in one of these top journals, and there was an article I was doing on Pride of Barbados ash. One of my key research is on the agro waste reinforcement for now, and unusual. One of the reviewers that reviewed the article for the journal had to message me privately. That was during the week to say, I read your work. I want to collaborate. Now, it's not ethical because it's a blind review, So when a reviewer reads your work and have to message you and say, please come and work with me, I have resources. And I said, okay, what do you have? What tools do you have? Because it's not about just working with me. There must be something you are bringing to the table. But that tells you how better I have become over the years when it comes to using these tools. These graphics you see now, in fact, all these tools you see me discussing now, I created them this morning. Within 1 hour, it was. And what did I do? I wrote down my thoughts. What do I want to speak about? I still have my notes here. And I went to the AI, generate this for me, generate this for me, generate this for me. So it makes your life easier. Okay, my communication this morning, has it been AI communicating with you? That is me communicating with you. But what does AI do? It saves my time. Imagine me having to do a slide like this. It will take days. But I did this morning, and I still spoke my mind, and I still communicated. So AI has not made me lazy. AI has not taken away my dependency. It has only helped me to save time. It has only helped me to become better. If me and somebody come for a job now, in fact, I've gone to conference to present conferences, and I do win the best presenter. Why? My graphics. I use graphics for my presentations. PowerPoint presentation is not, in fact, this is not even PowerPoint. I've even left PowerPoint. This is Canva that I'm using to stream live. So we have left the aspect where you have to do power word. You know what we call power word? You put every word there. That is not power presentation. A presentation must carry graphics and 1 or 2 ideas. You are supposed to speak from your mind. You are supposed to speak to your slide, not speak from the slide, not read from the slide. And if you're struggling with that, AI can assist you. So if you're looking to reach out, I'm available. We can collaborate. We can discuss. But like I said, serious researchers only place. You must know you are doing a serious research. And because of experience I've had over the years, before I go into collaboration, we sign agreements. Because I've brought people, we've done jobs, and at the end of the day, they will tell you it's my job, and somebody becomes greedy when it comes to money. For me, money is not the issue, but doing the job and being able. When you sell yourself, people will invite you, but most people, all they're after is just money, money. So please, I'm available. You can check more about me on all of these platforms. So thank you. So now let's double click and let's get into the practical part of the study. Before we get into the practical part of the study, permit me to stop sharing this guy. Permit me to also stop this recording. Okay. Yes. So